Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Darius Lumchauskas. Today is the 15th of October 2018, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's morning session where we're going to have a look at a few instruments, a few charts. We're going to have a look at what's happening with them, what to expect from them. But as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay guys, let's not waste any more of our time and let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on is Nikkei. Now, Nikkei just closed and it just closed basically, and basically this is where we've ended up the day here, and we're trading below this this upside support line, this short-term upside support line taken from the, or should I say probably more medium-term actually, medium-term upside support line taken from the lows of the 26th of March. Now, as you can see, we did have our break here on Friday, but as you can see, the bulls managed to push it back up here. And managed to close the week still above this upside support line. But nevertheless, this is what happened here. You can see that we've closed with open today with the gap, and certainly we've opened below this upside support line. Probably the tensions around the equity markets are still there, and yep, this is what kind of in a way spooked the bulls probably, and the bears kind of took control of it. And currently, of course, you can see that we closed this daily candle now in the red zone, so we could potentially see this here continuing to the lower, especially if we're gonna get a nice break and a close below the 22,175. Now you can see this one, I've got this one marked here as a perfect, nice, good support area that played out on the 7th of September. So if we're gonna get down here and test the 22,175, this is where it could become interesting for the bears, because probably the bears would wait until we would get a nice break here, or maybe even actually a close below this, in order to kind of start jumping in again. And but like I said, potentially we could end up pushing all the way here down towards the initially 21,850. Slightly below that, we do have another potential area of support at around 21,750. But if these two don't hold, if these two won't be able to stop the fall, now we do have this long-term upside support line here, in a way more of a tentative one, because we do have only two touches here, but nevertheless something to keep an eye on. And that's this one started running since around the 8th of September last year, so keep your eyes on down, keep your eyes on this potential test of this upside support line. Only if we get initially, of course, a break here below the 22,175, and then these two levels that I was just talking about won't hold as well. So basically there is some room for this one to move lower, so keep your eyes on that one. On the upside, well, I mean, if this reverses back above this medium-term upside support line, this is where it could become interesting for the bulls again, and we could aim for these highs that we saw on Friday, and that's approximately around the 22,715. A nice good break above this level could open the path towards the next potential area of resistance, which was, as you can see here, acted as a very strong area of resistance, and that's approximately around the 23,050. Now, of course, keep your eyes on that one. But if this doesn't hold, I mean, this could be retracing all the way back up here towards these higher levels. But of course, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much, and let's initially see what he wants to do with this level right here, the 22,175. And on the upside, again, like I said, we would need to get a nice good move above the medium-term upside support line, and then eventually a nice break above the 22,715. So keep your eyes on that one. Could be a nice, interesting, interesting trades building up here. So, looking at gold. So gold. Last week I was talking about this level right here, the 12.15 mark. Now, as you can see, on Friday we couldn't break this. We couldn't even, like, kind of in a way reach that level here, and it kind of stopped just about $1 away from the 12.15. Certainly today we're seeing a bit of a correction here now. Well, not a correction, actually more of a continuation to the upside. So basically this arrow here, when I was looking at gold last week, this is with the arrow that I kind of put in a way that we could see something like this. Probably a better confirmation here. We would need to see a nice good break here above the 1226 zone, 1226, or even, to be more on the safe side, keep it until the 1227. Now a nice good break above that level could open the path towards the 1235, and then eventually maybe going towards the 1245. Now the 1245 was marked here by the highs that we saw around the 17th of July, but probably the best potential area of resistance to keep an eye on here is the 1266 zone. As you can see here, it was marked by the peak of the 9th of July, basically in a way the highest point of July here. But again, of course, for that level, for us to see that level, we would need to get all these breaks here initially. Of course, initially aiming for the 1227, then 1235, 1245, and then eventually maybe the 1266. But again, like I said, keep your eyes on these levels first. If suddenly this reverses back down and moves below the 1215, certainly don't kind of, you know, be spooked by that too yet, because we could eventually maybe drop lower. Let me just actually bring this arrow here a little bit lower. So we could eventually drop lower here, maybe move down to test this downside resistance line from above, and then reverse and push higher. Now, if this gets broken, now this could place us in a bit of a more of a bearish zone here, and we could then aim for a possible test again of the 1183. But that's for such a scenario, for that level to be tested, we would need to see a nice good break here below this downside resistance line. I do apologize for my voice. So for now, guys, certainly keep your eyes on this level first, on the 1227, approximately there. Of course, if we get a nice break here above, that's wonderful. I mean, wonderful for the bulls, because we could then aim for the 1235 then. If we don't, if we start hitting that one again here, and let's say if it struggles to overcome the 1227 level, then watch out. Of course, again, watch out for the 1215, because like I said, we could see maybe a break here below this, but again, it wouldn't place us into the bearish zone yet, because we could see something like this happening, basically. So where we could see maybe a potential rebound from this downside resistance lines, which actually which we broke here on the 11th of October. So keep your eyes on this one, and yep, keep your eyes on gold. Looking into US oil, which is the WTI. Now, with this one, basically, as you can see here, not much to discuss, to be honest, but we're still above this upside support line, the short-term upside support line taken from the 16th of August. As you can see, it kind of acted as a nice area for a rebound, and kind of the bulls continue kind of to push higher here a little bit, of course, but for now, be very cautious. We're at this point here, we're just going to continue observing it, because Now, for us to get comfortable with the downside here, as you probably understand from the chart, we would need to see initially a nice good break here below this upside support line, and then eventually actually a nice close below the 70.55 area, approximately there. Now that was marked by the lows that we saw last week here on Thursday, and this was kind of the lowest point for last week. So the 70.55 could be a nice like a nice gate here if we would break this level, a nice gate for lower, which would open up the lower levels here, like the psychological 70 mark, or even actually going then much lower. So in a way, for those who are very conservative traders, then you probably in a way could wait until we would get maybe a nice good break here, not only below this upside support line and not only below this the 70.55 zone, but also below the psychological 70 mark. And this is where we could then aim for much lower levels here in the near term, where the next potential good area of support could be around the 66.95 zone. So on the upside, as you can see here by the highlighted area, a nice good break above the 73.05 could potentially open the path towards much higher levels like the 74.90, or you can even round it up if you want towards the 75 mark. So let me just actually put that here quickly. Yep, there we go. So you could then aim, like I said, for the 75 zone, and if that doesn't hold, well, I mean, we could then target the highs that we saw around the 3rd of October. So for now, of course, keep your eyes on these levels, on this upside support line, and of course the support levels slightly below that upside support line. So in other words, stay put for now. Jumping into Ripple now, looking at this daily chart here, so we can see that in September time we managed to break this downside resistance line that has been running here since around the 10th of February, and we broke it nicely to the upside, but then kind of retraced a little bit lower, and of course we can see that we tested the this downside resistance line from above, which acted as a nice plateau for the bulls kind of to jump in, and you can see now the crypto is trying to make its way back up here towards some key areas of resistance that previously acted as support. So for now, keep your eyes on the 0.4850. As you can see, it already tested that level, but kind of the bears managed to pull it back a little bit down. So still a nice good break above the 0.4850 could potentially open the path towards higher levels here. We could then aim something more like for the 0.55 zone, or even actually we could aim all the way here towards for the 0.6260 level, so which was marked here by these highs here on that we saw around September time. So some good potential areas of resistance. Certainly, like I said, if we do get a nice break here and a close above the 0.4850, a close on a daily chart, of course, above the 0.4850, then yep, you could eventually aim for the possible test of this level right here, the 0.6260. On the downside, if this suddenly reverses back down and places itself back below this downside resistance line, now this is probably going to be a very good opportunity for the bears to jump in here, and we could see maybe this one traveling even lower. So for now, keep your eyes on this one. Can keep your eyes on the 0.4850 zone. Looking at the euro dollar here, for this one I would probably need to jump into the 4-hour chart. Last week we saw, especially on Friday here, we saw this break of this upside, this short-term upside support line, which kind of pushed the pair down, and this is where we've tested the this level right here at around 115.35 zone, so which actually kind of acted as a very nice area of support from which the pair kind of rebounded slightly to the upside here, and now we're stuck at around this zone. So in a way, so keep your eyes on the 115.65 zone, approximately there on the upside. So a nice good break above that level could potentially push the pair back up here. We could then start aiming for the 116.10, the highs of last week. And yep, like I said, this could be could play out as a nice trade, but if that 116.10 doesn't hold, I mean, this could be opening the path towards much higher levels here. So we'll have to look at that one at a later stage a little bit. But for now, just keep your eyes on this little range here, and especially keep your eyes on that little range for today. So we could potentially see something interesting happening here. Let me just quickly mark that, and this is the other one. And on the downside, keep your eyes on this 115.35 mark. Now a nice good break below that could open the path towards the next potential area of support here, near the 114.75 area, something like that, approximately there. Certainly you could kind of, to be more on the safe side, you could potentially lift that a little bit to the 114.80 maybe, but yep, something like this could be possible if we get a break below the 115.35 today. So keep your eyes on that one. Certainly there are some lower levels here underneath, but we'll probably evaluate this one at a later stage. But for now, just judging the way everything is shaping up right now, we can see that the bulls are trying to step in here, trying to push it higher a little bit. So if that happens, then yep, keep your eyes on this 115.65, and if eventually we get a break above that or not. Now this could be, like I said, an important area to watch for today. Jumping into quickly USDJPY until I've ran out of time. So on this one, let me just quickly jump into a daily. As you can see, we're still below this downside resistance line, the short-term downside resistance line taken from the peak of the 4th of October, and continues to push lower. The pair, of course, continues to push lower, but something for you guys to keep an eye on. This is something to keep an eye on, because it could potentially break the fall here and stall the rate until kind of the bulls and the bears figure out who's going to take control from here. And that would be approximately around the 111.65 zone. So keep your eyes on that one, because this is where the rate could stall for a little bit. And like I said, it's also this level acted also as a nice area of support here around the 18th of September, and also, like I said, coincides here with this this upside support line, this kind of long-term upside support line, or should I say more medium-term upside support line. So yep, keep your eyes on this one, guys. Could be an interesting one. If this, let's say, this breaks the short-term downside resistance line to the upside here, then we'll probably start positioning ourselves for slightly higher levels, at least for the short term. So for now, just keep an eye on it. That's 13:15 GMT, 14:15 British Summer Time. But for now, thank you very much, and bye.